What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Los Wise Guys podcast. I am your host, Dan, aka Papa Sunkiller, accompanied by Emperor or Lord. What is it today? Disco. What's going on, Emperor Lord Disco?
Just got back from a interesting day. I'm excited to be on the podcast. Sadly, Eslam, as you can see, is not here again. We lost him back in Nam. I don't know where he is anymore. He's a POW. He's I don't know. He went back to Africa.
With that being said, I believe the Isle of Ramadan is coming around this time of the year.
Oh, is it? Is it around the corner?
I think it's coming up. I think this is when Ramadan rises once again.
Ramadan rises. He's got to eat up. He's got to so he can.
So that is coming up. I'm not saying that's what it is, of course, but yeah, I know it's coming around the corner, or at least I think it is. Don't quote me on that. I don't know. But yeah, he's not here, but that's okay. You got D&D, not the island special. Of it is Atlantis. You got another D&D special. Good old Dungeons and Dragons, Dan and Disco and Dan. Mm-hmm. So one thing I wanted to talk about is, like I was mentioning to you while you drink that chocolate drink, it's not milk, right?
It doesn't even matter. It's just so damn good.
It tastes great. Don't get me wrong, but I remember one day I was drinking it and I looked at the can and it said chocolate drink. It says it on the actual can.
It really does say it.
Yeah. But yeah.
It's backwards.
That's fine. We got it. But yeah, so one thing I want to talk about is when the podcast first started off, Rudy, who used to be on the podcast in the chat here, is a gamer. I myself am a gamer. We talked a lot about video game related stuff on the podcast. Eslam was getting more and more into gaming. And then, stuff happens. We all move. We kick Rudy out the state. We all decide we want to leave the state too, with the exception of Eslam. He has to hold it down. And we never got to really talk about you being a gamer, Disco, because if anybody listens to our podcast or watches us on YouTube, where you just go to youtube.com and search Los Wise Guys podcast, and you're going to see the picture with our faces. Nobody really knows much about your gaming history. And I know a little bit. I was there. I was in the house. I was gaming with you.
Yep, pretty much. For later years, yeah, you're a big bulk of it.
Yeah. So that's the thing. I want to know. I want the people to know. I want the people to know that you are. I'm going to call this a secret gamer. And, you're out there. You're just playing in the dark. No, that sounds horrible.
I do. I can't let people know what I'm doing. I can't let people know. It's good. I'm like a secret agent, spy gamer. Just He just looks like a regular guy.
So I want to talk about this because you do have some gamer cred. I'd say you're not one of those people. No offense, but there's some people who are like, I play video games and all I do is play Fortnite or Call of Duty. But you are like a legit, you're a legit gamer. One of the games I want to talk about firsthand. Now I'm not going in any particular order, so if you want to jump in, one I want to talk about right off the bat is Rainbow Six Vegas on the Xbox 360.
That's a throwback.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, I wanted to start at a big one, a monumental one. Let's say.
Yeah. I used to play that a pretty good amount actually, mostly because of Eric. Eric's always like a big influence in my gaming sphere. He's always got an ear, his words always in my ear. I usually, I don't know, not every game that he likes, but tend to gravitate to his games. He has pretty decent taste.
Well,
Rainbow Six Vegas. I also had a clan in Rainbow Six Vegas. All my Canadian friends back in the day,
they used to play with the Canadians. I'm going to bring that up again later.
I found them in Call of Duty, and then we jumped over to Rainbow Six Siege. And so at one point, it was like Eric's clan and my clan. Like we were like, not seriously, but occasionally we'll link up and it'll be perfect. And it's like my clan versus your clan, bitch. And it's like, I think we were called BAS, which stood for Bistro Assault Squad. We were dumbasses.
Hey man, that's not a bad. That actually sounds kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie. That's one of the things I want to talk about. Eric specifically. For anybody who doesn't know, Eric is your older brother, who is he's still very much a gamer, right? He's still playing.
Yeah, he's a hardcore gamer. That's what he does.
Okay. Yeah. So Eric's out there. He's still a gamer, and I remember Eric. He was he was that older brother that who's just like he's just good at video games from what I can remember. It's like you just put a controller in his hand. It's like he just knows how to play the game.
He's the chosen one.
That and well, he does read a book weird, but I'm not gonna get into that.
Yeah, I mean, it can't be perfect.
Exactly.
It's funny. He always kind of was that like chosen one figure, and when it came to games, I remember even when we were doing Yu-Gi-Oh, like heavy in Yu-Gi-Oh, we had met Thorn, this like other kid that was like really good at Yu-Gi-Oh.
I remember Thorn.
He like trashed all of us, and then we were just like, we have to call Eric. He's the only one that can save us. And I remember it was a big deal. We were like all were huddled around the table, and it was him and Thorn. It looked like we were just the biggest nerds, and it was just such an epic duel. I still remember it to this day, like just fucking getting all girly, like schoolgirly over watching them duel.
Oh yeah,
because they were so good. They're both their decks for like back in the day. We didn't have money too, so like we didn't have the perfect decks. But Eric, he was a lot like older, so he had more strategy, and so he put his deck together way better.
He used to eBay cards, didn't he?
Yeah,
I remember that. I eBayed like a few here and there, even when I was getting into it. But yeah, man. But no, that's the thing. So Eric is like he was always like the good gamer, and you might not realize this, Disco, but you were like not far off. Like I'm serious. It's like I remember a bunch of games. I'm gonna stick with Rainbow Six for right now, but like there were a couple other games where we would jump in there, and you would just whether it was your first time playing or not, it's just like, all right, Disco just knows how to play. Like you were just good. Like it's in your genes. It's in your family.
What are the buttons? Yeah, I mean, once you figure out the buttons, it's almost the same. Just you gotta know how to aim. You gotta tweak that like aimer adjust.
Yeah, but now
fingers.
But that's one of the things I want to mention with Rainbow Six is I never really messed with shooters. I played a little bit here and there. It was never my thing. Still to this day, I'm probably worse now than I was then. It wasn't my thing. I remember we would go there, Eslam and myself, and we would watch you and Eric play Rainbow Six, and you guys had the split screen thing going on. You're out there, you're doing your stuff, you're doing these missions, and then me and Eslam like, all right, we got this, and we put it on the easiest level, and we're just dying, just over and over again, just instant death. We don't know what we're doing. You guys are laughing. We're all having a great time. But I ended up buying Rainbow Six Vegas simply because of you guys.
That's funny. And you don't even like shooters.
I hate shooters, and you guys made me buy a shooter. Well, you didn't make me, but you guys I had so much fun. I bought a shooter.
Yeah,
never played
those
online.
Terrorist hunts were fun as hell, though. Like, it's just you and your buddy. You just got to kill like 47 terrorists in this mansion. Like, okay.
It was so much fun, but it was great, man. It was great. But that's the thing. Rainbow Six is one. Like you guys introduced me into that world. Another game. I don't know how familiar you are with it, but you guys introduced me to Tenchu as well.
Oh, yeah. Is that the ninja game?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I don't know how much of it you played, but I want to say real quick. I remember I borrowed Tenchu because you guys got me really excited about it. I turned the game on, died about 37 times, turned it off, and said, "Here you guys go. Thank you for letting me borrow your game." And I never played any more of it.
That the one with Ricky Maru? I don't remember.
Bro, I literally didn't get past what was probably the tutorial. So
he's like, damn, what the hell?
It was a stealth-based game in a time period where I played a lot of games, but I don't consider myself a gamer at that point in time. I feel like I became a gamer later on. So me, potentially in my hands now, I'm sure I got it. But then I was like, I don't know what's happening. But
stealth games were like, I feel like other than Metal Gear Solid, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like you don't really find too many like totally stealth based games.
There's a couple. You got the whole Dishonored franchise is big on that. I remember Thief a couple years ago. There's a couple out there. There's the fan base.
But
there.
I'm talking about like back then.
Like
in Metal Gear Solid era. Like
I got you. Well, yeah,
Metal Gear. Dishonored's like 2013ish or 20
something like that.
Around there. So,
yeah, more or less.
That's fairly.
Which is funny because like I'm still not the greatest at stealth games, but I do like using stealth elements when I play non-stealth games. It's weird. I don't know. But
in RPG, I love rogues. I always went.
Same.
Just let me go invisible. Just I don't have to deal with any of this, and I always love that. And
speaking of RPGs, no, go ahead. No, I was going to say, speaking of RPGs, I wanted to talk about another game. We've talked about this on the podcast, but I love talking about it with you specifically. Mass Effect 2, specifically Mass Effect 2.
Yeah.
My favorite game of my favorite franchise, one of my all-time favorite games, Mass Effect 2, where you have that crazy death mission at the end and you have to do all this stuff. For the people that don't know, Disco, can you just let us know how your Mass Effect 2 run went?
It was a perfect run. I lost no souls.
Not
I
one.
killed everyone that needed to get killed, and
Mhm.
I'm honestly, they made a giant statue for me, and everyone lived happily ever
Yeah.
after, the whole universe. That was
I've
me.
actually done that run that you're talking about. I've done that.
No, actually,
Yeah.
my real second run was just it was a complete shit show. I was young and dumb. I guess I didn't really understand the mechanic, and so I didn't realize you had to get all the rapport with everybody. So I like went to the end without like barely any, and
Mhm.
I guess I made a bunch of wrong decisions too, because like pretty much all my crew died. I had like a skeleton crew left, and and even I think I chose Tally as my lover, and I you have that one moment where you have to choose who to kill, and I saved the Zeth or whatever,
You
or I don't
saved
remember what they're
Legion.
called,
Legion. Who was a
the
Geth.
robots,
His name
the
is
Geth.
Legion, and he was a Geth. Yeah.
Geth, there we go. I saved the robots and not hurt people, and so she ended up committing suicide. So yeah, I was just the monster in that game.
She jumped off a cliff.
She did do that. She did
I
do that.
because I remember
And
you
then there's
telling me about
another
this.
romance scene. A
Yeah.
romance. I don't know why I said it like that. Romance scene.
Romance scene.
Romance. There's another romance scene later in the game, and like Tally's back, and I'm like, oh, I'm daydreaming about that. Like that's crazy. This
Yeah.
game is crazy.
Yeah. You so Mass Effect 2, I don't know if you're aware of this. It's well known for its companion missions. Like that's the thing which you completely avoided in the game. Like that's because everybody remembers, oh yeah, when you do Jack's mission or you do like what's it called? I'm blanking on you do the Liara like Shadow Broker stuff, you do Tally stuff. It's like these really cool missions. Legion has a cool one too. And you just didn't do them.
I guess not. Total dumbass. I'm like, sprint run. I got this.
Hey man, as long as you have fun. At the end of the day, and the thing is, after all these years, when Mass Effect 2 comes around, we don't talk about my run. We talk about yours. Yours was the fun one. Yours is the one that's
Honestly,
memorable.
it was quite the experience. It was
Exactly.
something. Just
One,
to even at the end, they had like this dark, like I remember the ship kind of just being like dim and empty. It's like
yeah,
we did it,
there's no
boys.
one there.
It's like,
It's just you and the
oh
pilot Joker. Like we got it.
yeah, like we made it. It was so it
Oh
was
man.
dark. It was dark.
Yeah.
But it's cool that they have that. That's just such a
The fact that that's even in there.
epic game, like to have
Yeah.
that experience, to have multiple endings based on what you do.
I hope we get another Mass Effect, but we'll see. We talk about the history of, or not the history, but the potential of a future Mass Effect. A couple episodes. It was with me and Eslam. So if you guys want to check that out, of course, go to YouTube, look up Los Wise Guys podcast. Real quick, I want to talk about another game where you're talking about like that whole experience. That was crazy. The fact that they were able to do that. When you talk about an experience in general, I can't help but think about the Rockstar experience with Guitar Hero 3. Because that was a big
Oh
one.
man.
Now I'll start this one off by saying so I brought Guitar Hero to your home with Guitar Hero 2, and I brought my guitar, and we went out and like I feel like within because Guitar Hero 2 and then Guitar Hero 3 came out shortly after, within like a week, you and Eric had Guitar Hero 3 on the Xbox 360. I was like, oh man, this is great. And then we would play. I remember Eslam ended up getting it. I had Guitar Hero 3, and we would all play it. I was the first person to play. I was the one who got really good at it. And you came out of nowhere, and you just went way beyond me. I was like, oh man, it's like I was playing on the extra hard level expert, and you were like, yeah, I'm gonna do that, and then make it go faster.
I remember I just got addicted to that. I like
Oh yeah,
autistic fucking hyper focus. I was like, I gotta get good. And then like you'd be like flicking so fast, all you hear is
yep,
and then what was it? I did the extra hard with the hyper speed, like you were
yep.
saying that, and it's like it's coming so fast. You literally have no time to think. It's literally muscle memory.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, find the patterns, kind
Yeah.
of have that like barely a millisecond delay of just to process everything. It was really an intense experience. And it's funny that you bring it up because my mom, she moved from Jersey to California and she had
Yeah.
like a bunch of boxes. I guess she never opened still.
Yeah.
She found my Guitar Hero guitar. I was like, what?
Oh, I still got mine. Yeah.
That is so funny. So yeah, I still have that thing. It's like a Les Paul guitar. I put little stickers. I was like, that's super throwback.
Dude, I've talked about with Eslam. I've thought about one day legit framing that guitar, like my guitar. I was like, this is the one where we all started playing on. So I was just like, I need to frame that for like.
We even brought it to high school too. We were,
dude. We played. I remember playing Guitar Hero for money in school. I remember like betting. What's it called? Jay Jones. I remember like something. He was there. It was Mr. Davis's room, and something about how I couldn't beat a level or something. I was like, all right, bet, and I won like $5 or something. But I was like, yeah, I'm playing Guitar Hero for money.
That's funny.
But
no, these kids. I never played this game for.
Legit.
But, one thing I want to say about Guitar Hero, and I think is the best thing about Guitar Hero, is that it opened a lot of kids to classic music and just good music in general.
Thank you.
So many hits like Mississippi Queen. Like I learned so many good songs. Knights of Sidonia. They had
I think Eslam's ringtone is still "Carry On My Wayward Son" because of that.
Carry On Wayward. Like so many good songs. Like it was honestly a big impact. Like just showing me all these different things and.
Yeah.
Every game they had new batch of songs. And
did you awesome. Get any of the other Guitar Heroes or was it just 3?
I think just 3.
Okay.
Yeah, I think just 3.
I ended up getting because I started off with 2, then I got 3, and then I got the 80s one. I didn't get all the other ones, but those were fun, man. I'm pretty sure we played the 80s one at your house.
I think I did get 2 actually. I don't remember. It was a long ass time. I feel like I played 2 games though.
One thing I do want to mention is somewhere else on YouTube, we would have to dig through the archives of the internet. We have our movie that we made for school, Guns N' Roses, which is spelled incorrectly because Eslam did the typing for it. But where we so you and I,
that was for copyright.
Where it's the infamous thing where it's us trying to run away from the snowy monster that's attacking where we live, and of course because
Snowy.
R.I.P. Snowy. But we had to include you playing Guitar Hero in the movie because it was that era. So at the very end, for absolutely no reason, we're just like, we gotta get Danny in here, just like going hard, just like destroying it.
I remember you guys came in. I'm just like doing the extra hard hyperspeed. Yep. Just for no reason, just pan through. Oh wow!
Like you're so good. I was like, people are dying. Like Chris's finger was out in the middle of the thing. Remember, you said that shit is fierce, and it was just like so much was happening. And then it was like, we need to put Guitar Hero in this movie. It has to be done. I missed this, but at one point, Eslam, Rudy put that it shook the world. I'm pretty sure he's talking about Guitar Hero, because it definitely did. That changed gaming in general. Now to kind of like move things away from Guitar Hero a little bit, another game that's still going around the franchise, which I do remember playing a lot at your guys' house, Tekken. Played a lot of Tekken.
Tekken's my favorite fighter game, to be honest. I played like Soul Calibur. I played Marvel vs. Capcom. A bunch of different ones, but Tekken always just had me. I don't know why. I just love the characters. I love Xiao Yu or whatever her name is, the one that does like the butterfly stance. I literally
Xiao Yu.
I had to learn that. I love the bird. I learned the butterfly kick.
Okay.
Just because of Tekken, and I also like the cop, the detective Lei. He's badass.
Jackie
I love
Chan.
the drunken style. His fighting is just so haphazard and just like. If you learn all the ins and outs, you can really mess somebody up good with that.
Because he's changing his style.
And then he just drops sometimes. So it's like somebody would just come at you with a comment next thing, or you're just like, I'm on the floor. It's like, what the hell?
No, dude.
I love
I remember you specifically, you like to use Lei. And I remember once it came out on the PSP, you were a big Dragunov guy.
Yeah, he's actually my
Yeah,
favorite character. I also used Lee and a little bit of Huarang. Lee had that really fast kick. I really
Lee
loved it.
and
It's like
Horang, they're both their
that
kicks. Yeah,
front kick is so fast in Lee. He's just like a whip or something. And then he had that like machine gun like side kick that like kind of goes upward. I love
yeah.
catching people with that. Huarang's just a
Horang's
Taekwondo
just
guy.
so
It's just
cool.
all types of kicks and like
Yeah,
crazy. But Dragonov, he's the bread and butter. He just
another
so
classic here.
strong, and he could turn like any combo into a grapple. Like the last move, just grabs your shoulder. Next thing is like Russian sweeping you, and then he has like a sweep kick that like all of a sudden he like kind of does a jujitsu move and just grabs your legs, and next thing you know he's breaking your ankle. Man, I just love all the different angles that he could come from, but also he's just strong. I just felt like he was a strong character, very
Oh
broken.
yeah. I when I was playing Tekken, I was like I did that basic thing where it's just like, all right, I feel like just busting out Eddie Gordo or Christie, depending on which one it is. Like, let me get the capoeira in
The
there.
cheat
But
codes.
I actually learned how to use the character. No, this wasn't with you. I learned on my own because with you guys, I remember I would just hit the same moves to try to survive. Because I remember that, or in your brother Eric, he would just pick Raven. I was like, well, I'm just gonna
Oh
take
yeah.
this out.
I remember Chris would he would choose the Forest
Steve Fox.
and Steve Fox.
Yep.
Yeah, he used to do the both of those.
Yep.
I used to get so mad because he'd be spamming one move. I
Yep.
mean, granted, Steve Fox just punches, but like
But
even
his
when
punches
he
are insane, though.
even when he was Forest or what's the other guy?
There's martial law and
Forrest
forest law.
Marshall. Yeah, I think even when he was him, he would just do the cartwheel and try to just cartwheel you. Like I'm just like, dude, do something else. Like it's not even fun playing with you.
I hate that. I hate that.
Yeah. Oh
But
man,
hey,
that
man, you
used to
gotta do
piss
what you
me
gotta
off.
do. You gotta do
I
what you
guess
gotta do.
everybody got their own household. But yeah, those
So
are my characters.
I don't know if you've like messed around with the newest Tekken. It's really good, Disco. Like,
Oh,
you,
I haven't.
yeah, you could
No.
probably get it like really cheap now, if not even free. So definitely look into it. They came up with this like mode where it's kind of like a fake like arcade story mode thing, where it's like you create a little like chibi type character, and you're walking around these arcades and you're challenging other like characters in the arcade, and you're going up through the ranks. I actually like and it teaches you like how to play like competitively. So I got really good at using Jin and Hwoarang. Like those have become my two guys.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I love doing my capoeira still, so it's still out there. But like those are my guys now. Yeah, and Rudy's saying here he believes it was fighting game of the year. It might have been Rudy, but I remember
You
that
remember
came out the
Bob?
same year as yes, I do remember Bob.
He's
Rudy
so
came out
fun.
the same time as like Street Fighter as well, so Street Fighter might have won it. I can't remember to be honest.
Hmm.
But yeah, one thing I did want to mention, like I know that you played it on your 360, but you also played it on your PSP. Bob was a PSP exclusive character, I think, right?
Hmm. I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
At
All I
first, you
remember
were.
is he was like a fat guy that just moves fast as hell. I'm like, what the
He's
hell?
the
How does he move?
American. Yeah. But yeah, one thing I want to mention, talk about PSPs. I wasn't really part of this group with you guys. This was more like you guys doing it. SOCOM. I remember you guys
Oh
were
man.
obsessed with playing SOCOM. Go out to Burger King on Friday after school. Everybody's busting out the
Oh man,
PSPs.
we were obsessed. We would have a whole circle, and SOCOM was so cheesy too. If you think about it, like they auto aim for you. It's like half the fun out.
I still sucked at it.
But we were dying. We love that thing. And one time, me and Chris, we would even try to go into his mom's like salon shop to try to steal her neighbor's internet. Oh man, we were fiends. And then one time, when we did have actually internet in my house or whatever at the time, we were playing, and me and Chris were just like mobbing on these people, and they got mad as hell. They were like, "Dude, keep doing that shit, and I'll show you," or some shit, like some like stupid threat. And
Yeah.
next thing you know, in the next round, me and Chris are like whopping on them again, and he said, "All right, that's it." And then he did some shit, and literally we both got kicked off our PSPs.
Damn.
It's like some
PSPs
hacker
were like
shit.
the most hackable. Dude, you hacked you were the, hey,
Oh
I
man,
need my PSP hacked. You were the guy.
I was obsessed with that too. I got like heavy into the forums. I'm like, oh, homebrew, all these different apps, and like, oh, I can help you free it up, whatever. And all the homebrew, like that's what they used to call it back in the
Yeah.
day. Like pretty much apps, you could call them.
Yeah, they still use that.
There was so many crazy ones. I remember one. I could like control my TV with the
You
infrared
used to
beam.
mess with your dad. I know.
Yep. And one time I got an app where like it could make any two numbers call each other, which is insane. I'm like, how does that even work? Like, literally, you'll have one person call another, and they'll call like think they're calling each other. Like, you call me, no, you call me.
That's
insane. I don't know. It's insane.
One thing I
used to prank my dad with that.
Oh, I know. Trust me, I know. You just be on your PSP and mess with the TV.
Oh, man.
Your dad's reaction to anything was always like the funniest, man. But one thing I do want to mention real quick, because I remember you did like hack your PSP, you did hack Eslam's. I am gonna still call you out, even though it's been many years. You said you were gonna hack mine, you never did. I know it's been a long time. And granted, this was high school. We're now in our mid-30s. But
he's holding on to that. He's like, yo, he's gonna bring it one day. Just like, yo, you gonna do it? I got you.
Oh man. A fun fact and warning to anybody who still might have their PSP locked away in a closet or a basement somewhere, that battery started to expand and explode in people's houses. So if you do have a PSP, be careful.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
That's a legitimate thing that happened a couple
Effing
years ago.
Sony. That's crazy.
Man.
Just selling bombs.
Yeah, man. Now, I did want to go from SOCOM because I'll say real quick, I did try to play with you guys. I borrowed SOCOM from like Eslam once. I was like, this just isn't for me. I gave it back and I went back to my WWE games, which I think you got a WWE SmackDown versus Raw, one of them.
I think I got one of them.
Yeah, I do remember playing a little.
We used to play that wrestling. Me and Eric like a long time ago too. I think on like PlayStation 2 or some shit, like one of the
like SmackDown or like SmackDown Here Comes the Pan or Shut Your Mouth, all that stuff. One thing, one of my favorite memories with
one second. Well, we're still on PSPs. It sounds like you're trying to get away from PSPs.
I was actually gonna stick with PSPs, but go for it.
Okay, never mind. Continue.
No. One thing I did want to say where with the SmackDown versus Raw, I can't remember which year it was. It was like, no, I'm not even gonna try to guess. But the one that we had where you could edit the loading screens, and because we were young boys in high school, we made them all like the divas. And do you remember once and this was in chemistry class, or was it? It was one of the science classes where it's just like you guys had an extra class and I was finished with school, but I used to just go to your class and we'd hang out in the back and play PSP.
Oh yeah.
And we were all playing SmackDown versus Raw, and
it's like 07 because we graduated in 08.
Yeah. So I remember on my screen I had like Stacy Keebler, you had like Tori Wilson, whoever, maybe it was Chris. I don't know if he had it, but somebody else had like Sable or something. And then Eslam. Yeah, and then Eslam comes in and was like, you guys all got girls. I got Kane.
I remember that. That was he was so proud of that too.
So proud of it. And we're like, okay, I guess. But that's like a memory that I will never forget. But,
staple.
What were you going to say about PSPs?
Oh yeah, another big game that was that's such an Eslam moment.
It really is an Eslam, and it's funny because it's like to this day that's an Eslam thing. Like he would still do that.
I could totally see that too. Yeah.
Oh, I got really in the chat laughing. Eslam felt that fire.
He did. And while we're on PSP, still another big game was Monster Hunter. Oh man, that me and Chris and Eric were on that for like months. Like we played that game solid and well worth the money. Yeah. We just got invested into that world, just hunting the monsters and then just leveling up. And at that moment in our lives, it was just like such an awesome game. I remember Chris would always come over, we'd just battle and do the stuff. And one time we were battling a fatalist dragon, which is like a super pumped up, strong dragon.
Yeah.
And Eric hacked it because we had the hacked PSPs. Eric hacked the game. He's like, I got infinite life. I can't die. Let's take on this dragon. So we're all fighting this dragon, and me and Chris are like, we didn't hack our stuff or we didn't use the code. So we're like playing normal, and Eric's just like thinks he's invincible, whatever. Next thing you know, he dies. And me and Chris just start laughing like, I thought you were invincible. He's like boasting, bragging, and talking all this shit. Next thing you know, our whole plan flopped because we didn't have an immortal on our team. And it was just like, it was like the birth of my brother. my brother's nickname, which is this guy. I don't know if you know that, but
I've seen this guy around. I never knew the origin of it.
We always like it's like always just like in a term of like this guy, like
this guy,
fucking this guy. He always pulls like this guy moves, like this guy, like makes you say that, and that was one of them.
You know what? We got to see if we can get Eric on here one day. Is this?
I was thinking that too. I feel like
I haven't spoken to Eric in so many years. Yeah,
you could explore his gaming knowledge.
Oh, I would love to because
he can go on for probably hours about all his little games, and
it's funny because
get to Warframe right now. Warframe, he's gonna fucking talk your ear off.
Oh god, I remember Eslam was gonna start playing Warframe, and it was one of those things where it's like I guided him away from it. I was like, I can't let you do that to yourself. I'm not gonna let you do that, and he luckily he didn't. But no, we definitely got to get Eric on there because last time I spoke to Eric, I feel like I wasn't as hardcore a gamer. I feel like now that I am, like I was like, I feel like that'd be an enjoyable conversation. But one thing I do want to say is we're talking about SOCOM and PSPs. I want to transition to another shooter real quick. Another one I didn't really mess with you guys much, but you guys are really big into Borderlands for quite some time.
Oh man, yeah, I think we played Eric all of them.
Yeah,
me and Eric would just the campaigns were just so fun. I really enjoyed those like campaigns like between Halo and Gears of War. I don't know. I just love playing with my brother. Yeah. Like I love playing with my cousins, and it was just instilled in me since I was young. We used to go to my cousin's house. Side note, like my cousin George's brother, Chris, we used to go to his house, and he used to have a Super Nintendo, and we'd bust it out, and he'd have like one of those like cartridges with like the 100 games. And we used to always play like old school Nintendo and Mario and like Mario Kart and all those like different. It was like hundreds of games, yeah. So kind of always just grew up playing games, and eventually we had like PS2, and we would have like my cousins over, my Chris and George, and another memory with him, we would play Resident Evil, which is like it would have all the lights off, and my cousin Chris was young at the time, so he would literally get like night terrors from watching us play, and we had to literally like from then on kick him out and be like, you can't chill with us, whatever. So funny.
No, there's you reminded me of I don't know if I told you this story. I know I said on the podcast, Last of Us. The first time I was ever playing Last of Us. So I was it was me and my dad, right? He was in like the living room or whatever. I'm playing Last of Us in my room. My little sister, she was really young. She comes over to my room. So my family, we all love horror everything, right? Everybody in my family. My sister, when she was younger, she was really scared, but she would get used to it. So she's watching me play Last of Us, and there was a scene in the game where Ellie's trying to run away from, I want to say his name was David, the cannibal dude, and she like gets on a horse. And she's like trying to run away from like the town people and everything. And I didn't know my little sister, she's in the room, she's watching. And so I'm just focused on the game playing. Somebody shoots the horse. Ellie falls off. She's running around, doing whatever. And then I realize my sister's there, and she just bolts and runs out of my room. I'm horrified. I'm like, that was weird. I continue playing the game. My dad comes in busting a door down. What did you do? She says you're out here killing horses.
Oh my god. Not a horse. You just like
I was like
nightmare fuel.
Oh man, but yeah, I don't it's see okay, Rudy remembered it. But yeah, no man, it's like one of my favorite memories. So it's always funny having like the younger sibling or cousin or somebody who's just like, yeah, they'll be okay. They'll get used to
terrorized. Back to Borderlands though. I just love that like camaraderie, and the characters were fun too. Eric had like that bird guy. I remember I had the midget like rocket launcher guy at first, and I think next I had a Zero, the like ninja guy. It was just so fun to play, and the storyline was pretty solid, and I feel like at the time the cell shading was pretty unique too to like a shooter. So I was like, oh, this is really cool. Like a comic shoot 'em up, and you got your invisible. I mean, every character had their other powers, but you just have your powers, you have your guns, you upgrade your guns, and it was just fun. It was fun.
Yeah, I think the only other like franchise that had cell shading.
Sad that the movie did so bad. I was honestly heartbroken. Like, did y'all even try?
So I was never a Borderlands guy. I know there's a lot of people liked it and everything. I never thought of Borderlands as a story-focused game. So I mean, you tell me. It's because you know it better than I do. But it's like
it's not in depth, but there was
Yeah.
a premise, like the Vault
Okay.
Hunters, and then you had Handsome Jack, and it wasn't like crazy, you know. But you had your side quests, and it was fun to kind of like do those. Yeah.
So when I found out they were making the movie, with my knowledge of Borderlands, I was like, oh, this is gonna bomb. Like I absolutely had no hope whatsoever. So it's like when it came out, I was like, what's the surprise? But one thing I want to recommend for you, Disco, if you get the chance, you know Telltale, right? Telltale Games, like they did The Walking
I
Dead.
don't think so. Oh,
So like they've done a lot of different franchises, right? And their big one was like The Walking Dead, where it's like it was its own original story set in the comic book universe, and it was like it changed gaming. Like it was this amazing game. They've done so many different franchises. Then one day they were like, "Hey, we're going to tackle Borderlands," and it's this franchise called Tales from Borderlands. Disco, this might be the funniest game I've ever played in my life, and I to this day like don't play Tales of Borderlands 2. It's made by a different studio. I hear it's bad. I don't know. But like the OG Tales from Borderlands, you can find it for maybe like $10 right now, or even free. So if you get the chance, you go in there. Claptrap is in there. He's like the greatest thing ever. Like it's like I don't know much about Borderlands, but I know Tales from Borderlands, and like I love that game. That's like one of my favorite games ever. So you definitely need to check that out.
better than Golf Story? Didn't she say Golf Story?
Golf Story is it can like cure diseases because of how good it is.
Grandma, just play this game. You're almost there.
Story, you'll be okay. It's on their deathbed. I can't get a hold of one. But no, Golf Story is very funny too. But in all honesty, I think Tales of Borderlands is a funnier game. Another one that might be up there is South Park, Stick of Truth or Fractured Butthole. Get it? Like those, they're pretty funny too. But Tales of Borderlands, you definitely need to check it out. And one other game I do want to kind of mention real quick that I know you've played and you've talked about on the podcast, but I love the updates you used to always give us, was The Witcher 3. I know it's more recent, but you used to update us with Witcher 3, and that was like my favorite thing. I was like, all right, what's this go doing with Geralt of Rivia now?
I missed that too. It was the Switch was a fantastic console. I know people like give it a lot of flack, but honestly, for me,
great console.
Allowed me to play like a lot of the classics that I missed because I'm not a hardcore gamer. I do like games, but I was never like this is my whole life. Like I did other things and I fell off and then I'll get back on, fall off. So, yeah, it just it was really cool to have that with Switch, and Witcher was one of them. And Geralt of Rivia,
Geralt Rivera.
Gerald Rivera. Every episode it just changes, and that game is so long. There's so many side quests, and like he gets to romance so many people, and like it's so in depth. I really did enjoy that. It was fun. I used to like take screenshots, and I'll try to show you guys on that.
Oh, I know. I still have them. I still have the screenshots. Screenshots that we're not allowed to put out here.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
No.
I
had fun with that game.
No, I could tell. The way you talked about it was always the best. Like
the fighting system kind of got a little boring at the end, but like the story was solid.
I gotcha. What's it called? How are you? You've seen the trailer for Witcher 4, right?
Oh, isn't that the Wild Hunt?
No, that's 3. That's the one you played.
Oh, no, I guess not.
So they did a trailer just a few months ago. It might have been at the Game Awards actually in December. Somebody stab.
Yeah. Just making all the noise because
you're fine. It's fine. But no, so they had this trailer, and it's cool. It's like a whole cinematic, and then you have stuff going on, and then it's revealed that a Witcher is like in the town. They're like, "Oh, you guys screwed up. You're trying to sacrifice somebody for this monster." Blah blah blah. And the Witcher, it turns out it's Ciri. So she's the Witcher now.
Oh,
yeah. Definitely get the chance. Yeah, she's like legit. She's at that rank now.
They made her like do the process. Oh snap!
So she's as far as I can tell, she is the protagonist. So definitely check that. It's funny because
I'm down with that.
There's a lot of people on the internet who are the type of people that are on the internet who are just like, oh no, this ain't right. It's woke. You made a female character. The Witcher's always been a guy. And I was like, I know you've never played the game. Like Ciri's been around for forever. Like you obviously don't know anything about this franchise.
There's always going to be someone hating, like especially nowadays, especially when they gender bend or race bend. I don't know. No, there's always like someone going to get mad, just like, it's not original, it's not pure.
Yeah. But that's the thing. It's always funny because you can always tell it's like whether they actually care about the content or they're just like, oh, I just felt like complaining about this today. Yeah. But yeah, no, definitely check out the trailer when you get a chance for Witcher 4. I can't remember the actual term for it, like the actual name for the game. But those are the games I got on my list that I remember that you played. Is there any other ones you want to mention that you do recall or something I'm forgetting that you're big into?
Yeah, I have a couple.
Yeah, go for it.
Like I was trying to dig deep.
Yeah, man.
Back, all the way back.
That's why I was giving you time. Saying my list. I was like, I know you're working on yours.
Yeah. And so another game that I kind of grew up with is Mega Man Battle Network.
I didn't know you were a Mega Man guy.
Me and Eric were fucking diehard on Battle Network. It was just so fun. You like get your little grid, and then you have like little mods that you kind of hook up and interchange, and the grid kind of sometimes when you battle can have different zone like elementals, or sometimes it gets knocked out randomly, or like you can knock out your opponent's like grid, limiting their movements. It was it was so good. And I just enjoyed the Game Boy, man. It was just so fun. Just play it anywhere. I was a crack addict for that thing, and then it was just like a nice RPG that just caught me in. And me jacking into fucking laptops, jacking, Mega Man. And another one is also Bomberman, low key Bomberman. I had fun with that one.
Okay.
I wasn't like diehard, but I did have a Bomberman phase.
Okay.
And back in N64, I remember this game.
I've never talked to you about N64, so I'm really excited right now.
The game, a random game that we got was called Winback, and it's pretty much like no one's ever heard of it, but I remember it.
N64 is good for that, though. Like having games to do with it.
You're pretty much like a SWAT team, and you just go in and you just defuse or shoot people or whatever. And I love that game. I remember just doing that with Eric. It was like, it says in 1999, so I was 9 years old at that point. That's the same year Matrix came out. Big year for me.
The Matrix and Winback. Never forget. Yep. That's what everybody says.
Another game on Game Boy was Golden Sun, and this was like an RPG game that I was into. Solid 9.7 from IGN. It was a fucking long, but it was an epic game. I remember putting a lot of hours into that one.
What's it called?
Golden Sun.
I'm a big RPG guy, so I'm definitely gonna look into that.
It came out in 2001, so that's a doozy for you.
Oh, that's fun.
Considered one of the best N64 games, according to Big Roo. Nice. Golden Sun was good, man. It was epic.
I'm not familiar with it.
I really loved it.
I'll tell you, my N64 era was not that great. I played only sports games.
Yeah. Another game that I remember, I think this was PlayStation. I don't know if it's PlayStation or PlayStation 2. It was a game series called Soul Reaver.
Oh, yeah, Soul Reaver.
That one, I thought he was so cool. The way
he was like, because he had the mask covered. It was like, he was
man, I was like,
hang on, what year is Soul Reaver? Because
this is badass. So we're going back now.
Soul Reaver.
Got a 9 out of 10 for Steam.
1999. Yeah. That is, if you're gonna draw a cool character from your mind, like, oh, let me just make up a cool character, you would make Soul Reaver. Like, that's who you're creating. And honestly, yes, Rudy beat me to it. Soul Reaver was recently ported to PS5. That is true.
The story was solid too.
They brought it back.
I thought it was pretty cool, and the gameplay, and he just honestly, like you said, if you think of badass, it's like Soul Reaver.
Like during that time period, like that is like, oh, you want to create a cool character, this is what you're gonna make. Like, absolutely, Soul Reaver all the
Used
way.
to like collect souls and man, it was totally awesome.
He used to reeve.
Reaver, reeved all the time. I think that's all I got.
That's hey man, that's
I played other games, but those are few that kind of pop up right now that like really.
Yeah. This is what I wanted though. I wanted because it's like there's been so many times where we're talking about whether it's the fantasy league or something like that, and you yourself have mentioned you're not a gamer, and it's one of those things where it's just like no, I'm not. I'm shutting that down. I was like, Disco is a gamer. It's like you're like for the longest time you're one of the, like a hardcore gamers. You're naming games I don't know. Like you're going deep cut. So it's like, other people who claim they're gamers are playing, oh, let me just go play like Fortnite, let me go play Valorant. It's like that's cool. But it's like
I did play WoW for a bit too, World of Warcraft.
Right. Like, you're big into
WoW.
WoW.
Man. I used to play it like it was a job.
Yeah.
I literally it literally was another life.
Yeah,
it literally was another life, and I was like, "Damn, I need money." Instead of getting a real job, I was like, "Nah, I gotta farm gold. I gotta sell my leather. I gotta kill these things. I gotta farm this. I gotta farm." It was so in depth, World of Warcraft, and I really enjoyed. My brother had a friend, and his friend like had a clan, and so we joined, and occasionally they would do like raid the horde because we were the other people.
Yeah.
And that was like one of my best memories, gaming memories ever. I remember we got in somehow. We were in the sewers, and at that point they gave you kind of like RC radio toys that you can like control and drive around, and you could see through the rope, like the radio toy, whatever, the RC toy.
Okay.
And so we were in the sewers, and we all launched these RC toys, and we're like scanning and scoping. I was like watching these people live the horde life, and eventually they caught us, they found us, and I remember they got alerted, and all the 85 started coming. The next thing you know, all hell broke loose. All our people were just scrambling, like, what's happening? Where are they coming from? All these 85s just like circled us. And I remember I was a warlock at that time, and then after that I was a rogue. When I was the warlock, I just got trampled. I wasn't strong enough. At the rogue, I could go invisible. So I remember like trying to fight, and then I'll go invisible, and I'm just like, I don't want to jump back in.
That's your chance to just get out of there.
Honestly, man. Just watching my people die, I'm like, I can't let you die. And then you jump back in, you do the most damage in your rogue character. It's like a bunch of damage real fast, and then it slowly wanes and like triples off until you go back invisible, and then you poison and curse and do all types of crazy stuff. Man, yeah, I guess I am a hardcore gamer.
You are. That's what I'm saying. You really are. It's just like I needed to stop this narrative that you're not. I was like, it's so not true. It's like you're in there, man. You got that gamer credit, you big time. And similar to you, I've always a rogue character. I love the sneaky stuff. I love doing backstab, which is always the name of a move.
Shadow step.
Yep, yeah, shadow step. Thank you. That's another one. But yeah, and that's the thing. You're poisoning them, you're cursing them, you're doing what you got to do, and then you sneak back into the shadows. Like it's what you got to do. And really also it gives you that extra like bow.
I love that play style too. It's because rogues typically are like soft. They don't have too much life. They one good hit and you're dead. And I love that because it's like they're so strong too at the same time. So it really takes like a technical aspect to be good with a rogue.
You gotta be smart about it.
It's not like you can just run in face first.
Yeah, you can't
warrior type. You need to really be like, okay, I'm gonna sneak this guy in the corner to the far right, so nobody, the rest of the people don't notice, and you just like low key plan it out real quick. It's like,
no, dude, I get it, but yeah, man. So that's I feel like we're good there, but yeah, man, we nailed a lot of games.
Elder Scrolls. I played Elder Scrolls.
I was just thinking, I was like, you did do Elder Scrolls, so we could talk about it. Like, so I was big into single player Elder Scrolls. So I liked playing Oblivion, which rumor has it they're going to bring it back this year, which would be really cool if they do. Skyrim, when it took over the world, I went back and I played a little bit of Elder Scrolls 1 Arena. I'm sorry, not Arena Champions. I forget. It's one or the other. But like I've played that Morrowind, so I played a lot of those. I couldn't do the Elder Scrolls Online. I tried it. Now I know you were big into Elder Scrolls Online and Skyrim. I remember you were big into both those. You and Eric actually, because I remember Eric was just like the wizard who would just like summon demons and have ghosts with him all the time, and you were a rogue character, of course, when you played Skyrim. And yeah, no, I remember that very well with you guys
I was mad in Elder Scrolls because
online.
for some reason Eric decided, hey, I'm going to play a rogue. Or it's not called a rogue, whatever, but a rogue character.
I know, so yeah.
And I'm like, why would you do that?
That's
Next
your
thing
thing.
you know, I have to choose like the electricity guy because like I'm not going to choose the same character you chose. I'm like, you just threw my whole funk off. I'm like, no, I'm the rogue guy, and now you're choosing rogue. Like, dude. Next thing you know, I became like a Sith Lord, just electricity everywhere I float. Like it was pretty cool. It was kind of nice though, actually, to experience another play style, different play style.
It's fun to do that sometimes. I'm like you. I like to be a rogue or a ranger,
Like
or
I was like Raiden.
that's like it's like I'm doing that stuff, and then sometimes I'll be like the big heavy tank dude. See it from the other side, see what it's like. But no, I'm with you. But yeah, man, we went in there. We got it out. You are a hardcore gamer. I mean, even though you don't play as much as you used to, have you ever not had a video game console of some sort in your household?
Technically, no. I've had a.
You've always had something
for a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
Xbox or. Yeah, I had an Xbox One for a while, and then I jumped over to PC and Game Pass stuff. And also, Eric's Xbox had broken down, so I gave him mine because I really wasn't really using it much. And then that in the Game Pass like moved over to PC, so I was like, I don't even need an Xbox anymore. The PC,
everything's an Xbox.
Yeah. Oh man, we played Diablo 2 too. That was awesome. Or was it 3 actually? I think it was 3.
Probably 3.
I think it was a 3. Yeah, it was fun. I remember that like dungeon crawler. I love dungeon crawlers, like just leveling RPG dungeon crawling. I remember I had the voodoo guy. Oh man, good times.
Diablo 4 is like it's a big, and if you still have PC Game Pass, I think you don't have to pay for it. It comes with it. So
yeah. My laptop can't handle that. Though.
I do remember you telling me this actually because we did have this conversation. Now I think about it,
I got to a point where like I just couldn't play no more because I had the character that summons all like the army of undead people. So it's just like more things for my computer to try to track. And it's like,
no, I got you. I mean, I'm telling you, Disco, though, if you want to, I mean, it's not the cheapest thing in the world and it could be a waste, but a Steam Deck, a ROG Ally, something. It's really a portable
thinking PC. About that.
Yeah.
A Steam Deck. Cause I'm like, it could play Diablo 4. It could play like a majority of all the games, If you play Diablo 4, you can most likely play any game that I'm interested in.
Well, not only that, so you can put Game Pass on it. It's kind of like weird to do, but you could do it on a Steam Deck. You could buy anything on Steam. Obviously it's a Steam Deck.
Yeah.
I remote play almost all my games from my PlayStation directly onto there if I don't feel like playing on the TV. So it's like a portable PlayStation for me as well. So it's like literally it has everything I want minus Nintendo stuff. Which
honestly,
you can. I'm not saying I do, but you can allegedly get other things on there too. Like, if you wanted to play older games like an old Pokemon or something like that, I've heard that people have gone and put that stuff on there, so that's a possibility.
What's the hardware like? Can it really play like good, or is it smooth? Is it?
Yeah, so
coming from the Switch, I mean the graphics don't have to be too crazy, but like
I know. If you're coming from the Switch and you play this, it's a whole new world. Trust me, it's it's a big thing. And no, I'm not Disco. Rudy's out here talking about how much they're paying me to promote it. I'm not. They're not paying me at all, and that's why I said even if you don't want to get that, you can get the ROG Ally, which is a similar thing. This one is based off like Linux technology. The Rudy, tell me if I'm wrong. The ROG Ally, ROG Ally, however it's pronounced, that's more Windows based. Now it doesn't have like a seamless Steam interface built in like this one does, but you could just download it and just work it like a computer. So it's like basically whatever you prefer. But there's a couple of things out there that are like that.
How much do those usually run?
I'll tell you right now. Hang on, and I have the older model. They have like better OLED ones though.
ROG is Windows based, so people prefer it. That's cool. Yeah, honestly, I
Anywhere from like
after playing
500 around
Switch, I
500.
got used to the portable stuff, and now that I play, I connect my PC to the TV, and it's nice, and the laptop is relatively portable. But like when I
It's
use
not
it
like
as
this.
like a system, it's not like a yeah. I usually like to have something in the background too. So when I'm using like my laptop on the TV, it's like
Yeah.
I'm taking up too much. Like I
I feel that. No, that's one of the reasons
and
why I
I
like
don't like that
doing.
I can't like move around. I'm all locked in. I don't know. I just like I don't know. It's weird.
Rudy's putting something out here. Let's see. From what I hear, limitations on Steam because some games don't work because of lack of easy anti-cheat, which is required for some games. That's yeah. So a lot of that is if you're playing, it's not going to involve me. It's multiplayer stuff. I don't like people. I'm not playing with people.
Hmm.
So it's like not my thing. If you are going to play multiplayer stuff, that is something to keep in mind. Thank you for that, Rudy. He also put this out here that the ROG is window based, so a lot of people do prefer it. So that's the thing. It's really like, yes, it's cool, but the Linux factor of it. I've never used Linux computers before this, and it's really easy to use. I like it, and I do also like the ease of access, where it's just like I'm not a PC fan at all when it comes to gaming, so I
I
like
feel like
turning on a console and just working, and
I
that's what
feel
this
like
is.
Steam has a pretty good catalog too. Like
Everything,
like
just about everything. Yeah.
exactly.
But
Like
no, the ROG Ally, you just put Steam on it and you take it with you, so it's the same thing.
oh, I see.
Yeah.
Well, I
So,
mean, but he's saying is there some limitations? So I was just
well, he's talking about Steam. Well, like the Steam Deck. Yeah.
the Steam Deck has limitations.
Yes.
Oh,
Because
he's
of
talking about
the
the Steam Deck there.
That's what he means. You just put in Steam. Unless I'm wrong, Rudy, let me know. But that's what he means.
Oh, gotcha.
But yeah, so but that's just something to keep in mind. So I'll make that my final thoughts. Like go
Yeah.
out there if you do want to do any type of like portable gaming and stuff like that. This is the thing. And at the same time, to be perfectly honest, Disco, they're probably going to come out with like a new Steam Deck fairly soon or a new ROG Ally like fairly soon. So even if you want to just keep an eye out for one of those, or if you do want to save some money and get an older one, which is still going to do what you need it to do, really, it's just up to you at that point. But just keep an eye out for it. It might be worth
Fuck
it.
that! I'm gonna get a Switch too.
Dude, Switch 2 is going to drop and it's to be the best selling console. I can't. I'm not going to deny it. Like it just is. Here we go. So here's a quick thing for Rudy saying. For example, Halo Infinite requires easy anti-cheat to be played online because people are stupid and they cheat. I don't do. Here we go. Anti-cheat. Easy anti-cheat is an add-on to prevent cheaters. So I don't play games with people. I don't have to worry about it. That's what I got to say.
I usually play online, so
I play
I
single
get
player
back to
stuff.
that.
Yeah, but yeah, look into it. Do your research. See what you got to say. But what do you got for final thoughts there?
My final thoughts are so I got a job as a pool tech, and I go into people's backyards, and over here sometimes people have fruits like fruit trees.
Okay.
And so now when I walk by fruit trees, I grab some fruit. And I found like the hugest lemons I ever seen. I saw a lemon tree and I was like, I have to grab those. Like they're like grenades. Look at this one right here. Frag out. It's a giant lemonade. Lemon. It's lemonade waiting to happen. Here's you can for reference.
So
it's like the same size.
Disco, do me a quick favor. Is it okay with you for when I make the thumbnail for this video, I just have it like that with you holding the lemons and the yoo-hoo? So if you could just hold it there for a good couple seconds, this way I could while I'm editing, I could screenshot it. Thank you. Yep, thank you. Yep, product placement. Appreciate it. And it's literally just gonna be like this, and it's like Disco's a real gamer. I can't wait. I can't wait to make this thumbnail. It's gonna look amazing.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
man.
yeah, it's a nice perk of the job, and also I got oranges too. So we out here.
So you make fun of me when I have my drinks everywhere, and you just busted out some lemons and oranges from two different sides of the screen.
There's more. No, my wife's like, stop bringing them home now. I'm like, but they're free. Look at the size of this thing.
One thing that would make me so happy is if you just like busted out like a guava, like just reach up and pull down a guava. That'd be incredible.
Here's some natural fig I picked today, boys.
Oh man. All right, but
That's
that
my
was a good
final
episode.
thoughts. Yeah.
Thank
Honestly,
you.
it was pretty good. I
Going down memory
enjoyed
lane.
kind of
Yeah.
reminiscing. Yeah. I didn't realize I'm a gamer. I'm a
You're a
gamer
gamer.
guy.
I needed to bring that out of you. So I'm glad we did it.
Look at me go,
But
babe. I'm a gamer.
but to everybody checking us out on YouTube and on Twitch live watching us, thank you for checking everything out. I guess Rudy has the final thought. Why not? Final thought. Gaming is so awesome that anything you're interested in, there's a game for that. You know what? Thank you, Rudy. That's actually a good stamp to put on this. I know I make fun of you all the time, but it's about time you say something.
Isn't there
And
like
then
a
he
goat
said,
simulator?
and then he said Gainer because he spelled it wrong and Lemon Thief. So he ruined it. I'm giving him all the credit. I'm giving him his flowers, and then this is what he does. This is why I make fun of
Oh
him.
man.
This is why I make fun of him.
Honestly, I am a gainer. I
Gainer and a
game
lemon
too
thief.
hard. And I am a lemon thief, and I'm proud of it. Look at the size of these things. You'll never see a lemon that size in
It's a big
Florida.
lemon. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, man. No, so anybody who's checking this out, thank you. You like always, you can watch us live on twitch.tv/LosWiseGuys. You could always go to Los Wise Guys, search for the Los Wise Guys on YouTube, and you'll see our logo with the three guys. Look for me wearing the hat, and then you'll just click on that, watch all our stuff, comment. We'll what's the word I want to say? We will
Comment? Reply?
comment. We will reply. We will engage with you guys if you do so. So as you can see, Rudy was here for pretty much the whole episode. We were interacting with him, putting his stuff on screen. If you guys want to see your stuff up there too, let us know. And as always, you can check us out on our social medias, which I will make sure is in the description. I will pull it up right now, but I cannot find it, and I'm struggling. Never mind. I'm buying time, and I got it. Look at that. I'm that talented.
Oh man, look at that.
But yeah, man. So as always, thank you and have a great 2 weeks.
That D&D special.